Hey everybody, are you tired of carrying your tools around in a makeshift manner? I'm going to be reviewing these 4 different tool pack-out systems. So I've got the RYOBI, RIDGID, Milwaukee, and Dewalt. These are 4 of the most common ones, and I'm going to do specific reviews to help make sure you can find the one that's best for you. Now in this video, I'm going to weigh each of the pack-outs to tell you the overall weight. I'll tell you how much each of them cost. We're going to do a physical strength test on the boxes, and we're going to load them full of tools and see which ones are the most practical. I'll also give you the measurements of each of the totes. To start, I'm going to give you the price breakdown of each of these. The RYOBI is the cheapest, coming in at $170 US or $250 Canadian. The RIDGID also costs $170 US, $252 Canadian. The Milwaukee Packout is $350 US, $430 Canadian, and the Dewalt is $310 US or $350 Canadian. Now, I don't recommend buying any of these at full price. These always go on sale for at least $100 off multiple times a year. So look out for a sale and you can get these reduced at least $100 every time. The next thing I want to do is a little bit of a durability test. So these totes are all rated for different weight capacities. Basically, I've got a sledgehammer here. I just went around and tapped the top of each of these boxes. Okay guys, I didn't even realize it, but the Milwaukee Packout actually cracked on the top. It didn't go all the way through, but it did crack. None of these other ones cracked at all, so it's not great on the Milwaukee one. Next up, I'm gonna walk on these and see if they can support my weight. So I weigh just under 200 pounds. Standing on this, the crack has not worsened at all on that Packout. So they can all support my weight, no problem. Next, I've got them all clipped together. Okay, let's lift them all up and see if there's any damage. The RYOBI looks undamaged. It has come apart a little bit at the bottom. I can also see the RIDGID one separated a little bit at the bottom. So as you can see, the clamp came apart a little bit there. Our crack has not worsened at all on the Milwaukee. No separation. And the Dewalt appears undamaged as well. I want to show how each of these clip together and lock into place. So on the RYOBI, there's a little push button. If you push the button, it releases. So this button controls the latch. To store it, you can't just push it down. You have to push the button in and release it, and that locks it in place. Next, we have the RIDGID. There's no button on this. On this system, there are these latches on the sides. So you release the latches, and then that's how you store it in place. So definitely a slower method, and these latches often require a little bit of force to knock them into place. The Packout has a little latch here. You simply lift it up and slide it forward. To lock it in place, you don't need to push any button, sit it on there, and it clicks into place. As you can see, it locks in there really well, and you can easily do this with one hand, unlike the other ones. The Dewalt, it is set up where you release the 2 clamps on the side. So these are pivoting latches that are designed that you can put it down and it locks into place. So this here, you basically need 2 hands to release it. You can put it back on with 1 hand though. Next, let's go through and show you guys all 3 of the boxes for each of these totes. Okay, so we have the large, medium, and small. One thing that you may see is there's a little closed compartment here where you can store some bits, And the RYOBI does come with some of these trays that clip into the side just like that. So you can put them on the large and the medium. And there are dividers you can get to separate the boxes as well. The RYOBI is 21¼ inch long. It is 14¾ inch wide, and it is 14 inches deep. The base set does have this handle that retracts. Unfortunately, that is the lowest setting that it goes to. And one other thing I'd like to mention about the RYOBI is these latches, they have quite a bit of play in. So if they're shifted all the way over, they don't latch in place well. That's just one little thing that I don't love about the RYOBI system. And one other thing I've noticed about the RYOBI after using it for a while is these sometimes don't fully lock into place. So that can be a bit of a pain, but once you get used to it, typically you can get them to latch. They do have the little locking clip, so you can put a lock on these. And RYOBI also has a wall mount system where you can get mounts for your wall, and you can lock these toolboxes and store them onto your wall. Next up, I'll set up the RIDGID. Now, RIDGID has come out with a new 2.0 system. This is the original, so I can't confirm, but one thing I don't like about this original is this tray doesn't fold up, the lid, it just comes right off. RIDGID also has little boxes that fit on the side. They fit on the side, and they fit in just like that. As you can see, we have trays for the small box, the medium box, and the large box. The large box is 20 inch long, 13¼ inch wide, and 12½ inches deep. These are definitely the smallest of the boxes in terms of the depth. I'll put this back together. So as you can see, the RIDGID handle does stow lower than the RYOBI one. The large box has the locking clamp on the side. Now I do have to say, initially I had the RIDGID box, I used it for approximately a year. I do find these latches to be a pain, as you really have to push them in. And if you have your hands full, you basically have to set everything down to lock these together. They do lock in there extremely sturdy though, but I do find that to be a little bit of a pain. Next up, let's go to the Milwaukee. Here's a look at the Milwaukee boxes. So the small box has multiple different trays for it. The medium box you can get a divider for, and the large box has this tray for the top. Now the Milwaukee is 20 inches long, 13 inches wide, and 14 inches deep. The Milwaukee handles do store nice and low. They store the lowest of the three so far. So if you're just looking to store this in your truck, it is nice how low that is. Another feature I really like is this medium box has this large handle. The other ones all have a small fold-up handle. This large handle is great for carrying it around. And the locking mechanism on this is absolutely amazing. The Milwaukee small trays have the most variety. So you have different trays here, and then you have an enclosed tray that you can put bits in as well. Just nice for depending what you're working on. And again, they all have the locking holes to put a lock on. last one here is the Dewalt. You can see the small box there has multiple trays in. The medium box has a large tray, and the large box also has a tray. Now, this Dewalt is 19¼ inch long, 13¾ inch wide, and it is 13½ inches deep. The handle comes down to there, so it's not as low as the Milwaukee, but it does stow lower than the RYOBI one, for example. These clamps are nice and tight. And I will admit the locking mechanism is not my favorite. You have to get it perfectly lined up and it locks into place. It's just hard to get it perfectly lined up, especially without looking, but it is something you can do with one hand, which is nice. And when it's locked together, it latches well. Here's a look at all of the small boxes laid out beside each other. So the Dewalt is 4¼ inch deep. The Milwaukee is 4½. The RIDGID is 3¾ and the RYOBI is 4 inch. As you can see, the RIDGID is definitely the narrowest. Here's a look at the medium-sized boxes. The Dewalt being 10 inches deep, the Milwaukee 9 inches deep, the RIDGID 9¼ and the RYOBI is 7 inches deep. And then here's a look at the large boxes with all the handles fully raised. Next thing I want to do is weigh each of these Packout boxes so you can see how much they each weigh. This 3-box RYOBI weighs 48½ pounds. The 3-box RIDGID, 34.5 pounds. The 3-box Milwaukee, 45.5 pounds. The 3-box Dewalt, 44.2 pounds. The weights are all pretty similar. RIDGID is the lightest, but it's also significantly smaller in depth. Now, the last thing I want to show is each of these storage boxes have additional boxes you can buy for the top. So they all have add-ons that fit on top. As you can see, there's different boxes you can get. I always recommend for people to get one of these dividers. These are great for storing different hardware. Now, when it comes to the additional boxes you can buy, Milwaukee by far has the most different boxes. They have a ton of different variety. RIDGID is limited, RYOBI is limited, and Dewalt is very limited. They all have different drawer ones that you can get that slide in and out, and then they have a couple different sizes. I'll show you some of the variety that Milwaukee has though. So every different company has their own version of these toolboxes with the drawers. The Milwaukee drawers are definitely the best ones in my opinion, and as you can see, Milwaukee has a lot of variety. So they have many more boxes available than all those other companies, and it's great depending on what you're doing. You can get deeper boxes for organization. You can get stuff specific for your trade. You can get one set up with sockets, hole saws. Milwaukee definitely has the best variety. Now, in my opinion, if I were to recommend one of these 4 boxes for you to buy, my recommendation would be the Milwaukee. It is expensive. I'm a little disappointed how we had that crack when I hit it with the sledgehammer, but I do think it's the most versatile. You can build upon it the most, customizing your setup. I absolutely love how easily the boxes click in and out. You can do it with one hand. Other features like this large handle are super nice. I don't love the locking system on the Dewalt, especially for the price point. I just don't love that. The RIDGID locking system, again, it takes a little bit too much force to get these to lock together. They're a little small as well. The price on these are good. The RYOBI, I just find they don't lock together very easily. There's too much play here, little issues like that. But again, the price is great on these. So I would recommend for people to go out, spend the extra money, get the Milwaukee, buy it on sale. But any of these are a great option. Now, I hope you guys found this video helpful. It would help me if you guys could like the video, leave a comment so other people can find it, as well as subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys found this helpful. Check out my channel. I've got all kinds of other renovation tips and tricks, home improvements, tool reviews. Give that a check out, and I hope you guys all have a great day.